Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to March. It's a beautiful month, and I hope all your goals and dreams for this month come true. Today, we are embarking on a topic that is dear to so many hearts, and actually, it's in appreciation of today's event, which is the annual International Women's Day, which occurs every March 8th. So today I congratulate every fellow woman out there, and this is wishing you to the best, and this is a tribute to you. So we have come to our episode 12, series 2 of NDISCO'S Village Meeting podcast, hosted by Dr. Maslina NDISCO'S. Again, we are talking about Africa, society, and culture, and talking a little bit about what makes us African and more, whether we are in diaspora or home at the homestead, anywhere in that dark continent. Again, I always share that I go home, I take it home. Um, like they say, charity begins at home. So I take it home to where it's applicable to my NBC society or NBC community, and as also an Igbo from the Igbo ethnic tribe or ethnicity, and to the next level of being an Imo from Imo State, from being from the southeast and Nigerian, as well as African, West Africa, by way of. So this is me, and sometimes I dabble into other areas. I'm showing who I am and also digging deep into these areas. I don't know everything. I don't know much. I don't know anything at all. I'm not an expert in most of these topics, but that is why I dig in to know more. So whatever I share with you are things that I have dug into to really explore and to have answers for those. Um, I also do some of the digging when some of these young ones call on me and ask auntie questions that I don't have all the answers to. I tell them I will get back to you, and then I delve in there to find out some more. So whatever I share with them is what I come back to share with the rest of those who may not have anybody to ask questions. Again, we started from the audio. Now I have it on YouTube as well. Please subscribe. It's also on Instagram. It's on Facebook and Twitter, and a lot host of everywhere. Sprout is my host for my podcast, so I am almost everywhere you think of. So feel free to browse in and listen, and invite the young ones and your friends, your children to listen, because some of these are really young, adult friendly and youth friendly. So today, let's talk about a topic that I wanted. Like I don't know most of you, when some events like this come up, I just sit back and think about what is it all about. So when yesterday and even earlier today, when people called and say congratulations on annual International Women's Day and all the flowers given to that effect, I sit back and really want to know. I would want to know, what is it to be a woman? Who is a woman? Who is then the next step an African woman? So come with me as I explore this topic. Um, Again, what I do here is try to do um, the best I can from where I come from. This is where I invite everybody to go deep into their areas, into wherever they come from, what part of the world. It's not just Africans, but go into deeper area that you come from and explore what else is there in comparison to what I'm sharing. So if I can move my cursor here, the question is, who is a woman? What does it mean to be a woman? That is a great question. And I asked myself that question. Who am I? I don't know. I know, but I don't know. I can't give it an answer. So it's like somebody asks you, who are you? You're supposed to do what we call elevator speech of few seconds to answer, because not everybody has all time of the day. But you find yourself stuck because you have so many things in your head that will describe you, but you can't put it in one word. So let's explore what the International Women's Day today make us realize. First of all, what is International Women's Day that occurs every March 8th? It's a global day. It celebrates the social, economic, cultural, political achievements of women and more. It encourages those who have goals to achieve them. It encourages those who already achieved their goals to share with others. It encourages every woman there to pull up and get going, help whichever they themselves and help others as they go along. So that's what today is all about. Remembering what women do, what they can do, and what they continue to do. So in that case, who is a woman? Who are women? What does it mean to be a woman? The International Women's Day defines a woman as an adult human female. And in addition to that, they say it's a transition from the term girl to a woman. So we know that in the other gender, the male, there is a rite of passage or rite of passage, like some people will say. We also believe that that exists in womanhood, that a young, small girl will become a young adult and then into being a full woman. But we're not going into that for today. But let's see what other people. So we say that's the definition: an adult human female who is transitioning from a girl to womanhood. But how do others see a woman? Um, I will start. Most of you who know me know I love music. So Shania Twain will always say, have this song as a man. I feel like a woman. Dun, 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 dun. I invite you to look at that song. It's always good because um, whenever you see a fellow woman talk about maybe themselves or what they do and all that, there are certain things that make them feel good about themselves. So that's a feel good song that said, man, I feel like a woman. Mhm. So we dance to that. That's how we see ourselves because of the feeling we have. So don't ask me how I feel when I feel like a woman. I cannot describe it to you, but I really feel like a woman. You've heard some people say, in my next life, I will reincarnate as a woman. Ask her why she thinks that. She may not have answers for you, but that's the feeling. Okay. The other one is, when asked what a woman is, this is one of these chief judges of the United States, Chief Justice actually, Ketanji Brown Jackson, had this to say: I'm not a biologist, I cannot say. So her brain is thinking, it has to be something biological for somebody to be a woman. And we know where that is going. You got the breast, you got the other part of your body and all that that is developed, like that picture shows a woman. But it goes beyond that. I can feel what she's thinking in her brain. I can't answer that question, but I'm not a biologist to say more about why. And also, I know that that kind of question could be a trap. So the other people, like Stephen Hawking. Stephen is a renowned astrophysicist. He came up with this big history of black hole, wheelchair bound actually, and it was great. So when he was asked who a woman is, he says women are complete mystery. Okay, and he left it at that. Isn't that funny? They know everything else, but then when it comes to the women, it's hard. So, how do other people continue it again? In 1949, the French philosopher Simone de Beauvoir concluded thoughts about a woman. He says, one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. Think about that for a minute. One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. Okay, so what, that is, if we compare his definition to that of the IWD, International Women's Day group, um, you will ask the question, where was the girl? So maybe that lies in his answer. Maybe children, the girls from birth are women. Think about that. I can't explain what he had in his mind. Number 5 is, when asked who a woman is, a representative in the U.S. In the Congress, Herb Conaway, it's a Democrat in New Jersey, opined, it is a more complicated question than one might know. These are great minds who make the law, who think about things we may not sometimes think about. They're finding it difficult to describe a woman, to define a woman, the word woman. Some people define a woman as someone with a vagina. Go figure, okay? So, but then that begs the question, how about those that are changing their sexes and getting operation to add that to their bodies? So that's a different topic, and not for another day. But this is how people are trying to, really make sense of who a woman is. Some say it's a complicated question. They don't even attempt. A woman is whoever she says she is. Okay? Some definitions of a woman are circular. They go round and round and round. It's like a dog chasing its tail. Which one comes first, the egg or the chicken? The egg or the chicken begot the egg, and the egg begot the chicken. So when you are defining a woman, it's like going around and around. For example, the woman is anyone who identifies as a woman. Okay. So if a woman is someone that identifies as a woman, who is a woman and what is a woman? Those are the difficulties that people are encountering defining women. Some definitions of a woman are absurd, actually. An adult, for example, says an adult who lives and identifies as female, that's its definition, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. Okay, this is again delving into a modern world where um, some people are born with different sexes at birth, and all of a sudden they change that. And in some societies, it's causing a lot of havoc. And this is why maybe the current president of the United States, the moment he came aboard, decided, no, we only have two sexes or two genders, male and female, nothing in between. But then nothing is black and white, right? Or white or black. So that the jury's still out on that. So there is this guy, Matt Walsh, who, I invite you guys to go to the internet and uh, watch his documentary on this topic. What is a woman? But he was bordering his on transgender, sex identity, and all that. But when he asked that question, many were stunned. When he says, who is a woman? These are the responses that people were giving. A woman is no particular thing. Okay? It is curious and secular question. Why are you asking me that? I don't understand that. It's a curious one. They want to know more. So that's their answer, really. One particular one, made me chuckle. It says, marry one and find out. But, fortunately for Matt is married with 4 children. So he went home and asked the wife, who is a woman? And the wife, it's funny. You go watch her because she also gave a straight answer. I'm like, IWD. Some say the word woman is many things to many people across race, gender, culture, nation, wide. And this is the truth. But then how diverse is that? We don't know. We have to dig in to find out some more. And as we go on, this is where I decided to talk a little bit about the African woman instead of going globally, because in Africa, there are some distinct things that make us a little bit different from the Asian woman or the North American woman, and so forth and so on. Somebody came up with, it's so hard to answer. Actually, not just one person. A few people say it's asking me who is a woman is hard to answer because they cannot definitely give you just one word or one sentence response to that. Um, Other people say many could not, actually, many could not define woman without the word woman in it. Like I said before, it's circular. So you define woman with woman that has not defined the woman at all. So it's difficult to know really who a woman is. The last one on our on this slide says, "Women only know what women are. Only women can tell you what a woman is." That's yes or no, and no, because if you ask really broadly, some women cannot answer that question of who they are, and that's a funny one. So, what's the final definition, verdict we are taking away with us, if any? And this is not conclusive. So, um, the definition of a woman that majority accept as accurate is that they accepted the dictionary definition that a woman is an adult human female. Okay, because they recognize that by the women having XX chromosomes while men have the XY chromosomes. Though this definition is accurate, but it has some liabilities. For today, for example, out there are people who have just one X, some people who have XXY chromosomes and all that. Those of you who have biology as background, you understand what I'm talking about. So it makes it difficult to really accept this definition as a final definition of today. So we see that it's changing every day. We have things changing, but in some parts of the world, it's still what it is, an adult human female. Okay, we move on. So this brings me to that topic that I had in mind starting this. I wanted to, first of all, showcase what the world says and how everybody's looking at it. So when we talk about the African woman now, I can share that in literature, in research, everything that every other woman is out there, it's the same as as the African woman. So any other woman in the world, but the only difference is our cultural differences, slightly, really. If there is no Western phenomenon or Western pressure on it. So let's examine some of that. I have shared that the African woman has everything else the rest of the world has, except the cultural aspects, which we deal with almost every day. We go back to my old episodes, the differences in culture. That's what our women really engage in as against other people's culture. But I thought it would be easier to really share instead of saying what we are and repeating everything else. But what is African woman not? What are they not? So one thing I would say is they are not people with no voice or voices. When people tend to say African women are seen and not heard, that may be, yeah, what do you call it now? The what people think. But in reality, it's not actually in majority of cases where they are. Starting from our ancestral mothers, they had a voice. Some of them were warriors. Some of them could be allowed to talk and say their minds in many situations. And so the rest of the world looks at Africa, where the women, they think they don't have a voice. Yes, they do. But there are settings in agreement that they don't have a voice, where they are supposed to be seen and not heard, even in settings where they have been allowed to get to uh, a place where they can make a difference. They are still expected some of the people in that setting expect these women to be seen and not heard. So they prey on them like, get yourself beautiful, get yourself sound, but whatever is in your brain, I don't care about. But what they forget is that the woman who is the mother of the world, like the French will say, la mère du monde, um, they help in formulating the world. They help in building the world. Excluding them from whatever setting where they can learn their own talents and their own spirit is a loss to the society. The women out there with the voices are trying to make lives better for their children, that they feel the pain of having birthed and carried in their wombs for 9 months plus. Yes, the men helped, but allow the women to be, there giving their own voices. This is what it is. So, what else is the African woman not? They're not dumb because they're reluctant to share ideas, although they are smart, doesn't mean they're dumb. They keep quiet. Maybe they don't share what they have, even when they have a chance to speak up. They fear retaliation. They fear threats. They fear being put down. They fear embarrassment. They fear being shouted down. They fear not having equal treatment like everybody else or their opposite sex. So, despite the fact that they are smart and intelligent and they can contribute, they shut their mouths and they keep quiet and just stay and look beautiful when they could have done more. So, it's wrong to look at the African woman as dumb. They're not, believe me. Some look at them as lazy and dependent on men. Again, this is culture talking. Again, going back into the olden days, our foremothers, if I can say that, worked hard. They were in charge of the farms while also bringing children to the world. They were never lazy. They were the ones that will dig the farms and bring all the crops and cook the food and all that while the men hunted. Today, it has transformed into maybe um, development, Western and all that. So it's the same women that will trade and hold good roles or top roles in offices and all that. Unless they are suppressed one way or the other. They may be asked, oh, because some other people have the idea of what they think a woman should be doing. So they ask them, oh, go to your role, which in most cases, nobody defines clearly what the roles are. Yes, nature has the role somehow demarcated for us, or the lines demarcated, but most of the time, due to circumstances that are descending upon us nowadays, these roles are really become really blurred. So they're not lazy, they're not dependent, but you can really help a woman to be independent if they are dependent on you. Um, a lot of these young ones nowadays who um, they are not doing anything, they're not making themselves, um, um, positioned in a way as to also help the society. Um, you see, some of them are put in that condition from people who don't know that they could really help them grow. So women are not lazy or dependent. If they are helped, if they're encouraged, there will be more. And that is where parents decided long ago to send these girls to school, to send women to school and allow them to go to school and become somebody, because today the woman can contribute more than they had maybe any time before. Another item that is the woman, African woman, is not she's not made for population increase. just to bear children mostly and nothing more. No, it is proven nowadays that they can bear the children, also help bring home the bacon to help the household. And most of them do that without any complaints. But sometimes culture pushing them to do more than they are capable of doing. They either get sick or they start suffering abuse because of that, whether it's sexual or physical. And we've looked into that before. So go back to my old episodes and listen to those. This is where they are, um, when they don't have that opportunity to produce or helping the population increase, they couldn't give birth to one or they couldn't get pregnant. They are also subjected to some kind of humiliation and all that. And sometimes it's not even their fault. So that's what a woman is not. A woman is not materialistic and loves money all the time. Yes, everybody in the world likes some kind of materialistic stuff. And tell me who doesn't love money? But it depends on the extent that people do love these things. So women are not singled out. They shouldn't be singled out. Men also do love money or material stuff. But it's unfortunate that when you go on the internet or hear people talking, the moment you call money, mention money, they're like, oh, women. No, most of them make the money as well. Yes, some of our young ones have been subjected to being fooled, to be taken care of. And this is why I say to them when I talk to them, no, nobody can take care of you than yourself. You help. And so you don't become victim to somebody telling you exactly when to breathe and not to breathe and all that. And that also stops you from contributing to the family or to the society that you live in. So most of them are not. Yeah, some of them are. Okay. Somebody is buying those 250,000 naira wig or $100 wig or $250,000 wig anywhere in the world. It shouldn't be. Okay. Um, Women, some say, always demanding equal rights with men. No, that's what they are not. Something most of them are feminists because they don't agree with the male dominated, put together idea of what a woman should do and what shouldn't do. It's an agreement between both people to do X and this one does Z, or both of them doing X, Y, and Z together. But some areas or some cultures twist that around. I will share with you that most people that I meet, most fellow women, they're not asking for equal rights, unlike what some people think. There will never be equal rights in any situation where there is a man and woman, um, because of the nature of not only biological, but um, the nature of what a woman is created to do. They think outside the box a whole lot. Not that the men don't, but um, they are built that way. So when they are asking because they are educated and they spend that amount of time in schools and everything, and they're asking for ability to earn a little bit more or closer to what their counterparts are earning, it's not equal rights they are demanding. They are demanding some consideration to somebody, agreeing to look at their issues as to, I work as hard as this person, but I'm getting 1/3 of what they are getting. That's not fair. So we're talking about fairness, justice, the truth about that. But when it's mentioned in some settings, it's called feminism, and it's not. Okay. There's the things women are not. So having said that, one of the things I forgot to add is also that women are not punch bags. In the other setting that I was in, women are not punch bags that could be, when the men are frustrated or something, they beat up somebody, and vice versa. the woman shouldn't be also that doing that to anybody else or the children. Um, but women are not um, people who could be like pushed around all the time because they don't have they're determined to be the weaker sexes. So on this slide now, we're talking about how majority of the women see themselves. Again, we're going back to this the beginning of we saw how the International Women Body see the woman. Then we asked some people on the streets what who how they see the woman, and some of them gave that um, what they thought. And we looked at Matt Walsh's documentary to say, what do you think a woman or who do you think a woman is? And we got that. Now we came to the African woman, you know, and I shared some of the things that I think I heard from a little bit of people that I talked to. We couldn't say because we know that African women are not so different from any other one in the world, except the cultural, um, what I call biases and settings. And it could be good for the woman, or some are not good for the woman. But it's our culture. But also now we are talking about how these women see themselves. So the good thing is that no matter, and some of them have voiced this, that no matter where they find themselves in the world, whether they're in Timbuktu, or Ouagadougou, or they're in Iceland, um, many of them know the truth and are not pressured into adopting any reinvention. So if I am an African in Iceland, I still have at the back of my mind that I am African. The culture still beckons on me, but also they have to be balanced with what is happening in Iceland. Although there are differences in cultures that are confusing, the women have no doubt that they can really balance as much as they can. They only need help from whoever their counterpart is to really help them get to that level of being able to balance the whole situation. They know they are women, whatever they biologically and all that. But when it comes to social settings, economic settings, and all, do they have enough leverage to be able to carry that, to delve into that without anything else clashing with that goal? That's the question. Okay. They understand that God has made the definition of a woman clear. It's whether it's in the scriptures or in creation. Yeah, today we hear that there are men who are having babies and vice versa. But I'm not delving into that because that's where we go into sexual differences and those who did sex changes and all that. In the African culture, we don't have that rampant yet. We don't. It's just streaming into our system. It's not there. I remember in that documentary, Matt Walsh was talking to a group of people in a rural community in somewhere in Africa, and he was mentioning to them that some men have the female organs and the female have male organs. They were looking at him like he was crazy, and they were laughing really, really hard. They said they have never heard such before, and that's the truth in most cases. When we talk about transgender and all that, it doesn't mean it doesn't. It's not, you know, a glimpse of it is not in Africa, but it's not as rampant as it is in the rest of the world. The women know that. They know that God made the man and God made the woman. And again, the other name for man is male and the other name for woman is female. They know that. They understand that women are fully aware that they encompass multitude of experiences, perspectives, identities, you name it. They know that a woman can be so many things in one. They embrace that. All they ask is, okay, I need help. I need somebody to help me reach my goal. When one asks a woman who she is, her responses may go beyond biological definitions. So somebody sees a woman, first of all, what they see is the woman's beauty or ugliness, what they are wearing, the finger, the hair, and all that. Some do not look beyond that to see what is in that woman, their intelligence, their independence, their ability to help, their ability to do more than that. That this person can end up being in space. They don't see that. But what they see is what they see. But the woman looks beyond that. And that's on the other hand, also, when they are looking at their counterpart, the male, they're not seeing just the beauty of outside, they are looking for the inside. And that's the perspective of a woman. They embrace the unique challenges and strengths that come with identifying as a girl, a woman, and a female. I just hope people will understand that women embrace their femininity, embrace what they are created to be. Maybe a few in the Western world are rethinking, I want to be a man, but in the African context, it's not there. We're not there yet. When the question is asked of a woman who she is, people should not be surprised when the African woman thinks it means navigating, or all women thinking it's navigating societal expectations. So they come to a certain place, there is a culture there already. Say, for example, coming to the United States, there is already culture sitting there. That's different from the culture I was brought up in Mbise nation, in Igbo land, in West Africa, coming out to the United States or to the United Kingdom or to Canada or anywhere else. But uh, the power of the woman is the ability to collate all this, be able to sift through that while being able to also be myself. The society reads it differently. That I am trying to be all that I've mentioned, and also be maybe American, a British, a Canadian, their culture, because that's my naturalization, maybe. And trying to balance that with also helping the children that I bring into this world to understand all these other phases of my life and their life that they have never, sensed, and to also let the world around me or outside me at the office or anywhere else know that, yeah, even if you're asking me to do A, we don't do that like that, but I will do A because you asked. But then I'm confused when I get home which one it is, and it's overwhelming. There are too many things, going on together. So what she will do is she might respond um, by trying to pull up whatever choices she has. And not only herself for herself, it's in support of others. What can we do to get ahead? How do we do this? So the confusion that comes in is misinterpreted, or the confusion that come in plural are misinterpreted by people who have not lived in that situation or under that flesh of being a woman. And this is where some people say, oh, she's now an Americaner, or she's now British. She thinks she has it, or no, this is the woman I married from, East Africa, and she's out here now behaving XYZ. People fail to understand that this same woman may be battling with so many things culturally and trying to make sense of that. But the expectation is the expectation from the other aspect because of the culture that is brought to a different location. So I don't know whether I'm making sense, but this is what is going on. And this is why we see all the struggles going on everywhere. The woman comes home, they got to bring it, they cannot sit idle, because then they don't want you to call them lazy and dependent and taking care of the children. And when they ask for XYZ, it's like, well, I'm out there working all day. What have you been doing? Some forget that taking care of the kids and household is a 24-hour job. And that's the way it is. So these women put their thoughts together, try to help themselves, being true to themselves, as well as trying to help others. They want to go to school. Some of them have been displaced in a way that they, their own vision, their own talents, everything has been stolen to tailor, to other people's. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Women face obstacles and encounter biases that can hinder their progress. But it is through resilience and determination that they continue to break barriers. So they hang in there, they work towards survival, and they hope as they do that one day they will be accepted, they will be invited, they will be allowed to really share what they know and their thoughts when they are asked permanently to sit at the decision table. Again, let me use an example, Nigeria. Today in the news, we have, which is in Africa, a nation in Africa, where even in the Senate, there is this, pressure going on everywhere, male, female stuff. I have a young girl who says to me, when this broke out of sexual harassment, oh, so auntie, now women cannot speak out or speak up when they're harassed. That means when a girl is raped or even a boy is raped, they cannot speak up because of fear of intimidation and all that. They shut up and close that, and then the trauma takes them through life. And those are the questions out there. So this is what I say to them. You know what? Speak up anyways, whether you're intimidated or not. But make sure it's the truth. Because some people have also told lies against others, especially the men, saying things that didn't happen. But if it happens or it has happened, expose them, bring it forth. And of course, there will be intimidation and all that, but it doesn't stop people. And again, this is where my fellow women who also could have been intimidated um, shouldn't fear that. Sometimes they tend to support the unfortunate or the wrong thing, forgetting it could happen to them tomorrow. So speak up, support each other if it is true. If it is not true, then call it out, but do not support evil. So I wanted to share with you the different phases of women, especially the African women. So you see, there were warriors, and I threw in Diana Feinstein, who was she's um, one of those women whose names you cannot forget when it comes to the affairs of women, fighting for the women. So I had to give her the courtesy of putting her face there. The next one is one of those warriors. She used to be an African queen warrior that we had. And these are the different faces of women, every shape, every form, old, young, um, whichever way, covered with wigs or without wig, warriors all over the place. There is more. They can be modern and they can be pure African. They can dress up or they can dress down. They can shave their hair or they have low cuts and braids and all that. They can wear African attire or English attire. So those are the women of Africa that I talk about. Okay. Um, I think I have really delved a little bit into, and again, like I said, this is a tribute to the International Women's Day, to all the women out there. Keep hanging in, keep doing the best you can, despite all obstacles. You still have some people there who help, who understand your capabilities and abilities to really help the nation, help the world. We have come a long way, baby. Like somebody would say, if you have gone to the moon and gone to the stars and gone to the bottom of the earth as well, touched everything, there is nothing you can do. Um, um, Apart from having the babies, you are also making a lot of strides out there. Don't ever stop, don't ever relent. But what the most important thing is, as you go up, pull somebody else up with you. The more, the merrier. And to our future women, the young girls now that are transitioning into womanhood, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Be yourself. Continue to be yourself. And there are so many good role models out there. Look up to them, imitate them, be them, bear them. Don't ever stop trying to be them. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This is one of those long ones, but I think it's worth it. Again, subscribe if you can. I appreciate that. Give me stars if you like. And we have some more of these coming up in the next episodes, in the next few days, months, and year. And we thank you so much for being part of our, periods when we do this and share our thoughts. Again, this is Africa, Society and Culture, and this is NDISCO'S Village Meeting Podcast, hosted by Dr. Maslina Ndidiaparoji, saying sayonara. Thank you so much.